Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kamen Kast. We're at episode 5. My name is Peace for Lunch, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife,
Daisy64.
Awesome. Real quick, let's get some of the business out of the way first. Thanks to everyone, as always, for your support, continued views, and just listening to the show is awesome.
Thank you so much.
We take a lot of time into doing this, and it's nice to see that people enjoy it.
Exactly.
So anyway, moving into episode 5 of Kamen Rider Zi-O, and real quick, we're still haven't done the Sentai thing yet, and I greatly apologize for that. But hang in there. Okay, Kamen Rider Zi-O episode 5. I'm gonna stop talking about the recap now. Because it's always the same.
Yeah, well, the only thing we need to know is he mentions that the key word for this episode is shooting star. Or there's actually 2 different ways to read that. I think it's Nagareboshi and Ryusei, which comes into play later.
Yes. Okay, so we see Uru and Ora talking to each other, and Uru is teasing Ora about, like, how she's failed and blah, blah, blah.
Ha, 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 it's so cute.
Yeah. And then they get frozen. So, like, they get frozen, which is crazy.
Yeah, and they look a little terrified when it happens.
Right. And then we see the third time jacker, and probably the final one, my guess anyway, is Schwartz. Schwartz comes off as very strange, very weird. He absolutely treats Uru like a child.
Yeah, he's like, "You want some chocolate? Here." And he takes a chocolate bar from somebody and sticks it in their hand. And
yeah.
I actually kind of thought that was neat.
That was neat. And then, like, of course, Uru gets upset because he's like, "I'm not a kid," and blah, 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 blah. And honestly, it goes off pretty quickly. He just tells them he's glad to see that they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah, and he's like, but we're still going towards Omazio, so you guys need to stay focused and remember to stay on task. Don't have too much fun.
Right. And so then he gone, and the 2 of them look a little distraught.
Yeah, like, here he is,
So I'm guessing Schwartz is something to be afraid of. Alright, then we see Sogo pushing his bike, or riding his bike, I can't remember.
I think he's pushing it.
And we have some school kids are like, "Oh my gosh, friends are great.
Yeah, thanks for tutoring me, friend.
Oh, we're buddies.
High five.
Big old buddies."
Yeah.
And so then he's like, he reflects on that.
I was thinking about Tsukuyomi and Gates.
Right. And so then we see his uncle on the phone at the time shop. Mm-hmm. And continuing to... Someone wants their clock fixed. That's clearly in a stereo.
It's like, yeah.
Why can't you fix it? It's got a clock on it.
He's like, but no, the clock is extra. He's like, the audio thing is the big thing, and it's...
What I don't get is he just immediately goes like, okay, yeah. I'll do it.
He can fix it, but he said he likes to fix clocks.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I can make you spaghetti, but I really like to bake cakes.
Right.
It's like it's still in the same wheelhouse, but it's not my favorite thing to do.
So then, of course, Sogo has a short conversation. All the scenes with the uncle for me are just...
I want to know what his role is, because he's got more than just keeping him grounded. There's something going on there.
There's got to be something more happening. I would have to agree with that.
He's actually a very sinister man.
Maybe.
Probably. I feel like it.
So then we see Gates and Tsukuyomi, and they're walking in. They're dressed kind of differently, or Gates is. Gates is wearing like almost a sports shirt.
Yeah, but he still has his like little gear stuff on.
I think that's going to be the joke.
Yeah, I love it though, because he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to blend in," but he's obviously not.
We get a great scene with that later that I can't wait to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So then of course, Sogo is like, "What is it? Is it another rider?" And he's like, even if you don't tell me or whatever, or even if you tell me not to come, I'm still going to come. Mm-hmm. I'm still going to figure it out. And so they have a fun, like, oh, okay, whatever. The intro happens. I can't remember.
It happened before.
Right there.
It happened before the uncle.
The intro happens, and some of the coolest stuff to watch in intros for me is how it changes. Mm-hmm. Previously, the intro, when it showed the Time Jackers, it just showed Uru like walking past Aura and Schwartz with their backs turned. Mm-hmm. And now we saw like Uru and Aura were gone or like running to the side, and Schwartz is now like the main focus of that shot. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. I dig the way they changed the intro, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Song's hype.
Yeah.
Song's good. Yeah. Song's fun. The song is making me like the Henshin more.
Yeah.
Because when it kicks in, when he hits it and it spins, it gets me hype.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing I've always liked about the Kamen Rider series is like, when you hear the song, you get hype. I'm not even gonna lie. On the way home last night, I was listening to Excite by Daichi Miura from X8, and like that song still is the hypest. I love it so much.
Yes, but I have to say I'm super dig this song now. Just wanted to,
it's really great.
Just wanted to throw those things in there.
It's available on Spotify too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just the short version though, isn't it?
No, it's the full version.
Wait, Excite or this song?
No, this song.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, previously we only had the short version. I would like to hear the full version.
As far as I know, it's the full version.
Okay. All right, so then going back to the show, now we see Tsukuyomi Gates and Sogo talking about what's going on. She explains that there are girls disappearing from a high school. They all have one thing in common, that they're 18 years old and they're Libras.
And this has apparently been happening over the years. The police haven't noticed, and it seems like they're all coming, I was going to say all coming from the same school, but they're all disappearing from the same school. Which is Amanagawa High.
Amanagawa High.
That sounds familiar. We've been there before.
Interesting, yes. Yes, we have. This episode brought many excitements and pure frustration.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
So, as she discusses this with them, she reveals that they have the classic Amanagawa High school uniforms.
Oh, yes, like if they're going to go into the school, they have to be students.
They have to look like students.
Yeah.
And so they all dress up in it, and of course the ongoing joke that we just spoke of, Gates still has his little, like, neck thing on. What are you going to call that?
I don't know what it is.
Some kind of harness.
And then, of course, Tsukuyomi has her cute little cape.
She's got her little cape. That looks good on her.
Yeah, it's adorable.
So then they're going to go around and ask They're going to ask people for information.
Hey, do you know any 18-year-old Libras? Do you know girls who are 18-year-old Libras?
And freaking Gates is walking up to these kids, and they're terrified of him.
Well, he looks scary. Look at his face.
I love this.
I mean, it's kind of like resting bitch face, but for dudes.
Right. I loved it so much because they're running and he doesn't it doesn't click that they're afraid of him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, hey.
And he's like, come back here.
I love that so much. And then of course we see Tsukuyomi being very nice and everyone's like, oh, she was pleasant.
Yeah, she's very cute. A little weird, but okay.
So then they need more information. And
it's really funny because they mentioned, wow, I guess you only know their birthdays if you're close friends, but nobody in this school is close friends, which is kind of a change from 7 years ago where everybody was friends.
Well, that's
later on.
That is a bit of a change. So then they need to. Sogo decides that a distraction needs to be caused
because Gates is like, I can hack the computer, and Sogo's like, well, I have a way that might be a little bit faster than that.
And he tries to tackle Gates, which, I mean, okay, if that's the route you're going to go, but you can throw yourself down the stairs any way you want to.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Sogo tries to attack, quote-unquote, Gates, and falls down the stairs.
I think he just kind of made it look like they were roughhousing, just kind of playing around.
No, of course. I know, but there's just other ways.
Yeah.
And so Gates and Tsukuyomi are confused for the moment, but then he's like, oh, medic. I need a medic. And so
isn't that when the spooky guy appears?
Oh, yeah. Is that not when that happens? That's such weird
dude
placement.
in a hoodie, and he's like, dun, dun, dun.
Evil guy looms. Yeah, my note says evil guy looms.
Mine says spooky guy appears.
So the evil dude shows up at the entrance of the school. We cut to that for maybe 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's all like he's got a hood.
It's all menacing and stuff.
Ooh, he's got a hood that means he's bad. Mm-hmm. So the nurse runs out of her office, effectively leaving the computer behind. And Tsukuyomi and Gates look through the information. They find one girl.
Yamabuki Karin.
They find one girl that matches the description. And they're like, okay, cool. We know who we're going to watch. The nurse helps Sogo. He's all good. Sogo goes walking through the halls and sees this girl that Gates and Tsukuyomi just discovered on the computer.
She's kind of stumbling around, acting weird.
She's groggy, yeah. She looks strange. And so she, for some reason, is afraid of Sogo.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. I'm sure we'll find that out.
Maybe we'll get more in the next episode. But she's afraid of Sogo. She shoves him into some lockers, and then a chase ensues.
Yeah.
Sogo chases her, and I mean,
he gets outside, and
he rounds the corner, and there's Woes.
Wars scares the crap out of him again, and it's funny.
It is funny. It's this time was not as comical to me, but I did enjoy please get used to it already, my dear Demon King.
I loved it. It was so great. He's like, this is going to keep happening, dude. You might as well get used to it by now.
And so, something that was interesting for me is this is the first time that Wars doesn't really have all the answers.
Yeah.
He even says, it's so convoluted, I'm confused about it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know what's going on.
And then he's like, but the only thing I do know is the keyword is shooting star.
Mm-hmm.
So he says it in the actual episode. And as Sogo reflects on that, by the time he comes back to reality...
Oh, and he also did mention that this case is related to a time jacker.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. He brings that up. Which I feel like it always is. It
always is, but he specifically mentioned it this time, so that makes me intrigued as to why that's such an important detail.
Right.
Because all of these cases within the Riders are going to involve a time jacker, but this, if it's related to a time jacker, makes me wonder.
Interesting. So then Wars is gone, and then we see, I don't remember how we get there.
Tsukuyomi and Gates are still talking. No. It shoots back, or it cuts back to Karin. She's on the top of a building, and creepy guy creeps up behind her.
And grabs her by the throat.
And is like choking her out. And then next thing it cuts to Gates and Tsukuyomi, and you hear her Karin screaming as she's being thrown off a building.
She's being thrown off a damn roof.
Yeah, like, what?
Get off a dang roof. And so she's getting thrown off a roof, which is crazy. But they rush over there to see her saved by another Forzay.
Yeah. Another Rider Forzay. So another
Forzay is here, and he does everything that Forzay does. Gentaro always does he has the hair slick back thing. Mm-hmm. So even when he has the helmet on, the joke was always he would go, make the noise, but he would still do it. And so he's doing all that.
Yeah,
another Forzay is
the kita
mimicking the kita. He's mimicking that kind of stuff. And so Zi-O and Gates henshin. Really cool henshin, as always.
Yeah, they're running this time.
They're not running yet, no.
Oh, that's right.
No. They're not running
That's later on, sorry.
In this one, I dig seeing them henshin together. Their henshin works better together, in my opinion. So I like to see them henshin at the same time. So they henshin, they fight him. And when they get knocked back at one point, what happens is Zi-O gets the crap beat out of him, and he drops the build watch. And so when he drops the build watch, Gates grabs it, and he uses it. So that's pretty cool that this is the first time that Gates is using a watch he's acquired previously.
Right. And two dudes pop out from the side of the building, and they're like, oh, what's this? What's going on here?
Right, they see what's going on. There's some guys watching. And so Gates uses the finish on another Forzay, which doesn't kill him at all. I don't know why, really. He does the finish and the whole shebang.
I think it's starting to be a thing where you actually have to acquire the power of the
to actually hurt him.
Yeah.
So then the girl who was thrown off the roof runs over to another Forzay and looks like she's going to convince him to stop doing this. He throws her to the side, and then he vanishes. Yep. He uses the rocket leg.
Launcher, yeah.
The launcher to vanish. So the two crazy students that were watching freak out because they're like, "Oh my God, you're Kamen Riders!
Oh my gosh! Like, we're the Kamen Rider Club," and they're just like, "You gotta come join because you're actual Kamen Riders. We've never seen them here before. So it's crazy."
Right, because this is probably way past their time in the sense of
it's been 7 years
since
so Forzay was there, so
they've long graduated and everything. And but for those who don't know, in Forzay they create a Kamen Rider Club as it comes about, and Daisy hasn't seen the whole series yet, which I have. And it's fantastic, and the characters are awesome, and I super dig it. Highly recommend it if you haven't watched it. The 3-2-1 before the Henshin is just so awesome.
It's super cool.
I love it. So anyway, they lead Gates or Sogo and Gates and Tsukuyomi to the new Kamen Rider Club, which is way different from the way I remember it.
But remember, though, there was an interesting part, because as they were headed that way, what does Gates do with the watch?
That's right. Did I write this down? Yeah, okay. So as they're going to that club, Gates returns it.
Yeah.
He hands it, like he slams it back into his chest.
Yeah.
Like, here you go.
That's kind of interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder how they're going to explain that, because even though that's a cool character moment, I don't feel like we've earned it yet.
I don't know, because slowly but surely Gates is kind of like opening up to him. He's kind of like, yeah, we'll do whatever you want. I mean, I know you're going to tag along, so just, he's very, what's the word? I don't know, he's very, I guess, laissez-faire about it.
I just felt like it would have been better if he would have been like, I'm going to watch after this for a while.
Yeah.
And pocketed the thing.
That would make sense, but I don't know. I really feel like he's starting to trust him. So it'll be interesting to see how he explains it. I'm interested to see how he's going to explain that away, though.
I don't know. I feel like if this guy's supposed to become the Demon King that kills my entire family, my friends, and my planet, then I wouldn't be ready to trust him.
Well,
just yet.
I'm not arguing with that point. I'm just saying that that's the only thing I can think of right now. But he's going to explain it away somehow next episode.
Sure.
Because I'm pretty sure, Tsukuyomi would have something to say about it too.
Now, okay, so then we get to the club. Did you have a chance to look up what UMA is?
I'm assuming it's, no.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's something like a UFO. But
Tsukuyomi refers to, so they act like Kamen Riders are Yuma. Yeah. Kamen Riders are Yuma to these people. What? I don't know what that is. But anyway, they're in the club. They're in the club area. And the dudes are freaking out that they're there. And then Sogo sees a picture of Ryusei on one of the nearby boards. So I'm guessing, as you said earlier, Ryusei means shooting star.
Well, I think it reads the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it uses the same kanji,
Gotcha.
I'm assuming. Because normally that's the thing with kanji, is like it can be read multiple ways. And I'm thinking he's like, oh, that looks like that, but it also could be read as Ryusei.
Right. So he's like, who's this? They refer to Ryusei as an old boy. I guess you're an old boy once you've graduated.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like an alumnus. Is what we refer to.
Fun fact: this is Kamen Rider Meteor. Kamen Rider Meteor is one of the more complicated characters in Forzay. Excuse me, and he also is right up there with like some of the best secondary riders in the business. He is a wata character. Every attack he does is a wata, so it's very Bruce Lee inspired.
Love it.
You would love him. He is amazing. Matter of fact, I really want us to get back to watching that, so you can get to those.
We will. Because I also want to watch Fies now after having seen the episode.
Yeah. So Ryusei, another interesting thing about that is his transformation. He's Kamen Rider Meteor. Meteor is what it is, but they say Meteor. Meteor, when he transforms, when he henshins, he turns into like a ball and like shoots around, and like he can attack people in that form.
Oh, that's cool.
So he shoots around and slams on the ground, and then he comes out as Meteor, and that's neat.
Oh, that's neat.
So I guess that's another thing for Shooting Star, because his power comes from a satellite in space too. Anyway,
could spend all day on that.
So we see him, and that's cool. That's really cool to see.
He's a club founder. We learned that.
Mm-hmm. And
if you haven't seen Forza, that is.
And so he's one of. And so Suspenders guy shows up.
Osugi Sensei.
And Osugi Sensei is a very comic relief style character in Forza. He has these suspenders on that he always pops, and they're really loud, but he hurts himself. But he always does it when he's trying to punctuate a point and look cool.
Before that, though, it's important to mention that when Sogo sees Ryusei, he's like, Ryusei, oh, Shooting Star. Oh, okay, I get it. Just like Wars said. And Tsukuyomi and Gates are like, whoa, did you say Wars? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, be careful listening to that guy, because he kind of wants you. I don't believe him. Yeah, he kind of wants you to be Omazeo, so it could be a trap. He's like, but it could also be a lead.
Right.
So they know he's definitely working against. I don't think we've mentioned that previously.
We have.
But it's another thing. Maybe they thought it was like a one-off time that he interacted with him. But now they're seeing that he's starting to hang around. So that probably is cause for warning.
Yeah. I think, and we'll get to this a little more here in this episode, but I think there's a lot more to be afraid of about Wars than he is letting on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting point. To point out that they don't trust him, and they're like, maybe we shouldn't listen to him.
Yeah, let's not do that.
So then Suspenders guy shows up, and he's just like, at first he's very casual. Oh, we have new members, and this is really cool, and this club is all about friendship. Mm-hmm. The club was never about friendship to start with, and Gentaro in 2011 makes it all about friendship, because it starts out as, I'll get into that. No. Watch Forza.
Watch Forza. But anyway, then he happens to see the watches on
Gates' arm.
Yeah, he's like, oh, he starts freaking out.
He does. And he runs over to a lock box that happens to have some mementos from Forza in it. I don't really recognize him.
I think it's his special like treasure box or whatever,
right?
Like of keepsakes, because you mentioned that Sonoda Sensei,
yes,
which was the literature teacher,
yes.
There's a picture of her in there, so I think it's his special box.
He always had a big crush on her throughout the series.
And there's a lot to say about her.
He's always jumping in the way and being like, "I'll save you." So he mentions that the previous owner of the club handed this to him and said something to the effect of, "There's going to be some cool guys that need this that come along, so make sure they get it." Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. I'm pissed.
Okay.
They put it out there like we were going to get Gentaro. They even teased it at the end of episode 4. I thought we weren't showing his face, just for like the Japanese love to do that. We've been watching Terrace House, and that's a big deal. You don't show the face because that's the big reveal. We do not get Gentaro this entire fucking episode.
Yeah, they keep showing him from the back when we see him a little bit later too.
And that blows my mind. Mm-hmm. This dude, the actor that plays Gentaro, was just in the Bleach movie for Netflix. I'm sure you could pull him aside for an episode and go, "Hey man, come be Gentaro." He has reprised his role in movies. Mm-hmm. He has reprised his role plenty of times. So why were they so afraid? Why could it not work out?
It could have been a conflict with filming or scheduling or something. But he could always be in the next episode.
No, he's not. He's not.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
It's over. He's not there. He's not there, and they make it a point. He's not there. Because he even says, Suspenders dude even says, like, he's out helping on another lost girl case or something. Mm-hmm. So he's still acting as Kamen Rider Forza, which is fine. Anyway, I'm so upset. So anyway, then they get the Forza ride watch, and then Gates is like, "All right, well, I'm going to 2011."
So goes like, "Me too."
Well, yeah, but I mean, at first he says, "All right, I'm going to 2011. Tsukuyomi, you stay here and watch over the chick.
Yep.
And then he starts to walk away. And then So goes like, I'm going to 2011 too. And he's just like, you wouldn't listen to me if I told you not to. Mm-hmm. So, okay, let's go.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. That's what it is. Do whatever you want. So they go to 2011. And we see like how another Forza comes to be. Mm-hmm. There's this young dude who's standing over a girl's unconscious body. And he is frustrated about his fading power. His hand flickers with some energy.
Yeah.
And he's upset that he's losing his power.
Exactly.
So I don't recognize this guy. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. I don't recognize him. I don't know who he is. So he runs out into the woods and he sees the real Forza fighting Scorpio. To me, it looks like the first fight against Scorpio, the first real fight, because it's the one where Gintaro remarks at the fighting style.
Yeah,
Scorpio gets into that cool stance and everything.
Yeah, super awesome.
And so then Schwartz shows up.
Yep, freezes time,
and he walks up to this guy, and it's just like, "You need power, right?" Like, that's what you're in for?
It's like, I've got a new experience for you.
I've got a new thing for you, and I don't need your consent.
I'm like, dude, are you like a pusher? I guess literally, because he pushed the clock into him, but whatever.
Wow. I mean, I know it's bad to say this, and if anybody gets upset that I say this, I'm sorry. But I love the fact that, all the way up to now, Uru's like, form a contract with me. And Oro's like, form a contract with me. And he's like, I don't need your consent.
I think it's because his power, just because he's so strong. He's like, you can say what you want. I'm still going to do whatever.
I really love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We could talk about that for a long time. I think we need to move on.
Okay. So anyway, he forces the watch into the guy. And the guy becomes another Forza. Mm-hmm. Then we see... we do a cut to, let's see, where am I? When do we cut back to Tsukuyomi? Okay, no, a little bit later. Okay. So then we see another Forza use a switch. Mm-hmm. Switches are what Forza uses to transform. He uses another switch to completely absorb a girl.
Yeah, and then we see those creepy weird eyes again.
And then we get the eyes.
I'm like, you guys gotta stop doing this. This is terrifying.
That's great. Keep doing it.
No, don't.
I want to find more ways to show these freaking
Don't do it.
Zi-O and Gates then show up, and this is where we get the running henshin.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Which is cool. Running henshins are always fun, and this one did not disappoint. Very cool running henshin. My notes get very thin from here. Gates uses drive.
Does this awesome slide kick.
He does.
Love it so much. I also love how when he does the henshin into drive, you hear, oh God. Oh, what's his name? Beltson.
I know who you're talking about. I'm not good with names.
I'm so terrible. I can't believe I forgot you. I'm so sorry. I love you so much. But you hear him say,
drive.
Oh, Krim. Okay. Yeah. So, Crimson says, drive. And then it goes, drive. Yeah. I love that. I did it twice because, it needed it. Because I really think that's all we're going to see of drive. And it makes me so sad because I love that series so much.
Man, that's such a bummer.
Oh, my gosh.
So Gates uses drive in the fight. And, Zi-O gets his butt kicked again, I feel like.
Yeah, dude, this guy is tough.
And so he gets his butt kicked again, and now he's going to pull out the Forza watch.
Yes, this is a very important part,
and he presses the button, and it goes like, Forza. And another Forza, attacks him as he's about to transform, mm-hmm. and War shows up.
He's like, whoa, buddy.
He catches the fist mm-hmm. and remarks, heretic. And
how dare you
interrupt the succession ritual of Omazio becoming Forza.
Yeah.
And then he throws this fist to the side and does this force push.
Blast. Yeah, I loved it.
And it sends another Forza flying. And then doesn't he turn to Zi-O and he's like, please.
Yes, he's like, my liege.
Yeah. Please continue with this succession ritual.
Yes.
And so Zi-O does the transformation. The armor does the pose again. Very easy pose for Fourze. Space Kitai just puts his hands in the air. What
you just don't care.
Do you think about the armor?
I hate to say this because normally I really love like the forms and stuff that they take. I find it kind of underwhelming, honestly. Really? I mean, it's okay. Just I'm like, dude looks weak, and this stuff is like everything looks heavy on him. True.
So here's the thing. It seems like we're going the route with X8 he had Gashokon breakers as his arms. With Fourze he's got rockets arms, which in Fourze he actually uses a rocket fist. Mm-hmm. So he shoots these rockets off of his fist at one point and deflects these missiles that another Fourze shoots at him. Yeah. That was really cool.
And that was really cool. I'm just underwhelmed by the suit.
The suit's okay. I like all the jets on it because I always liked how Fourze had that jet on his back and could kind of shoot around. I thought that was cool. So then we cut back to 2018 where Tsukuyomi finds the girl again.
Mm-hmm. She's in that abandoned building.
Yes. And the evil dude that has been coming around shows up and reveals himself. Mm-hmm. And this is supposed to mean something if you've seen Fies.
Yes.
I haven't seen Fies.
I haven't seen Fies. And unfortunately, we're going to give a shout out to a friend of ours. He knows who he is.
Whaley, I wish you were here to explain this to me.
Because you would know so much about it.
Because you would know so much more about this than I would. And we're going to be lost the next episode. Yeah. I'm just going to tell you right now. We ain't going to know what's going on.
We're going to be like, well, so that's cool. I imagine that goes with Fies.
Yeah, that's going to happen a lot. So he reveals he drops the hood back. Tsukuyomi pulls her gun on this dude.
She's like, oh no, sir.
She pulls out the nope gun and she's like, I'm about to tell you to nope.
The nope gun. And he says, mine not getting in my way. And I did do a little bit of research before we came on. And his name is Kusaka, which actually they mention it later, from the Ryusei school. Which was an orphanage, apparently, in Fies.
Okay.
Or was a house of orphans. But also, like I said, Ryusei.
Sure.
So that's what his tie-in is with the shooting star business.
Understood.
But again, he says, mine not getting in my way.
And so this is Kusaka, and as I guess he's about to do something, he is tackled by a mysterious man.
Somebody else. Lots of mystery guys going around.
We cut back to the fight. This was a weird break in the fight. Mm-hmm. We cut back to the fight. We see the Fourze finish. I'm not even going to talk about this because we don't get the grand, we don't get Gentaro talking to him about, here's how I do my finish.
Yeah, that I can understand how that's upsetting considering we've had so much, mentorship.
We don't get any of the fun stuff that could have happened with Gentaro in the episode.
Yeah.
We get none of it. God. Oh, I'm upset about that.
So he does this tailspin kick thing.
He does the thing Fourze does of shooting them into space. Forze's kick is he hits you with the rocket arm, shoots you into space. He lets you go and lets you drift for a second before he then flips the drill leg up and rockets into you. Mm-hmm. So he shoots him into space like that, but he forms this weird triangle.
He's like a top.
And he spins and kicks. And it's stupid and I didn't like it. So then we come back to Earth, of course, and we see another Fourze break almost. Mm-hmm. His skin breaks off.
Yeah.
And
it's his armor.
See Fies.
Yep.
It's another Fies. So then we cut back to the warehouse place. And, of course, Gates and Zi-O are like, what the hell? We cut back to the other place, and the guy that tackled Kusaka out of the way is Fies. Mm-hmm. So at least he's getting a comeback. And I gotta say, man, his hair looked sweet.
Yeah, he had some pretty awesome hair.
Sweet mullet he's got going on there. Beautiful mullet. Love it. Thought he looked great. Thought, what a great reveal for people who enjoy Fies. Too bad I didn't get the same treatment.
Personally, I thought it was kind of hot, but that's good.
Yeah, he looks good. He's a good looking dude. And then the episode ends, and I mean, I don't have much more to say about this. I'm super disappointed. I feel like Heisei got a good representation in the sense of the outfits and the school, and you get like a little cameo of when they're questioning people. You see the cheerleaders, you see the jocks. You know, they're all still wearing the different things. Yeah. And it's all outfits from Heisei. Overall, this episode really made me upset. It pissed me off in a lot of ways. Out of 10, this one's about a 4 for me. I did not like this episode. The only things that even stack it to a 4 is the fact that Wars knocks a dude out. I thought that was cool.
There were a lot of really cool moments in this for me, but I'm not as bummed as you are because, like I said, I haven't seen Heisei, but I can understand how you could be upset, especially if you are a huge fan of the Heisei series, because the main rider, even Ryusei, Meteor, you know, we only see him in the picture.
Why couldn't they have brought him in? If you're not going to bring in Gentaro, at least bring in the other guy, and he's great. And maybe we get some closure on, did he actually date that goth girl from Heisei? Like, I really wanted to see something.
I'm really hoping that for the next episode he'll be in there.
No, he's not coming. So yeah, in the previews for next time, it looks like we're switching gears to Fies.
Now, I will admit, I really did love that experiment about the two, using the two, I'm assuming the two watches in one, or the two watches in one. Of
what do you mean?
With Heisei and Fies being like two.
No, that is cool. It's cool to see the armor break and everything.
I want to know more about that, and I'm excited to see like how that came about. And
I think that further comes and adds to the mystery of Schwartz. How powerful is he versus the others? Because we keep stepping up. He reminds me of the Frankenstein dude from Kiva.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah, you can see that.
I swear to God, if they fuck over Kiva the way they just did Heisei, you gonna see one angry dude out of me.
Well, we already have Ghost and Drive watches, so we're probably not gonna see anything from those series, and that makes me very sad because I want my Shinosuke.
I want Shinosuke as well. Ghost can go suck a lemon. That's fine.
No, because hands down, we still have to see Alan Sama in his poncho.
No.
In his poncho with his takoyaki, strutting in there into battle. It has to happen.
You know, if this episode is a preview of anything of coming attractions, you can almost bet that your favorite character from Ghost might actually show up.
God, I hope so. That would be amazing.
So anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for all the support. Please leave comments, likes, whatever you want to do.
Tell us what you liked or didn't like about the episode.
Do it. Yeah, if you're just as mad about Heisei, then be mad with me. And tell me why you're mad.
Or if you think that Wars is still like the coolest character in the show.
That's because he is.
He really is. He's the best.
If you don't think so, then that's too bad. All right, guys. Thanks again. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time.